surprising question that comes up very often from entrepreneurs I work with on a one-on-one basis is, hey, I was working on implementing some of the peak performance principles you just shared with me in our last meeting that we worked through, but I have this question: what do I do with these great ideas that are coming in, these seeming awesome opportunities to level up my business, or to start a new business, or to partner on something new? If you don't have some sort of method or system for dealing with that frequent occurrence, you will get derailed. The shiny object syndrome will take you astray. So let's talk about that for a minute. If your goal is to have the highest effective hourly rate from the business that you're working on, and also to have the highest quality of life from the business that you're in, if those are two primary goals, like they are for most people who go into entrepreneurship, then what kind of variables are we dealing with here? Essentially, we're dealing with a scenario where we want you to be able to spot true gold mines, like the things that really do amplify the results that you're able to get with regard to those two goals. And we also want to avoid spending all your time digging a few feet in at a gold mine you've discovered, and then someone yells, hey, over here, there's a better gold mine. So you drop your shovel, you run over there, sure enough, it looks like a better gold mine. So you start digging on that one. And then you're a few feet in, and then somebody yells, hey, over here, there's an even cooler idea. So you run over to that next one. You can spend your entire entrepreneurship journey chasing after the thing that seems slightly better. And in fact, one of the dangers for a lot of digital entrepreneurs that I work with is that the recurring revenue model allows you, it actually creates time for you to be able to do that, sometimes for years. You can jump from one thing to the next. So it's actually working against your long-term goals of building a meaningful business that increases its value over time in terms of what it creates for you in revenue, or in terms of what it creates for your customers or society in terms of value. And so it's actually something that can work against you, the fact that you have that space and time to be able to jump from one thing and explore a lot of things. Now, what we want to do then is figure out, well, what's the method to be able to contain that? Because you don't want to miss the best opportunities, but at the same time, you don't want to always be jumping and getting distracted and never finishing anything, right? So what I recommend is that you have this kind of three-pronged approach. And the first part is contain. And that just means you've got a place where you contain all of these ideas. When it comes in, you don't drop whatever you're doing to respond to an email from someone who potentially could be a great partner for some new business venture, right? What you do is you say, hey, let me get back to you on that. So you put it in some sort of container, and that can be something that you review at the end of each week. You could block off an hour at the end of each Friday to just go through new ideas and think through, so that this way it's not distracting you from the things you've already committed to. And so that's the contain element. The second element is delay. So we know that people make better decisions when you get distance from something, because there's an emotional, there's a desire to go after something new. The novelty effect makes it more exciting. It feels like you're exploring a whole new world. And of course, entrepreneurs are more vulnerable to that pull. That's one of the reasons you became an entrepreneur, is because you were curious enough to wander into the unknown, to explore. And the need for safety is a little bit lower for you relative to the need to explore and experience novelty and growth. And so we want to keep that bias that you may have as a human being in mind. So we want to get distance. And so that's another reason to delay. Sometimes instead of every week, it might make sense to say once per month, we will reevaluate new opportunities. So one of the reasons why somebody might not do that is because they're thinking, well, I'll miss this opportunity if I don't jump on it. And that's why we have filters as the third element. So we contain, we delay decision, and then we have filters. And these filters are customized to you. These are the things that you've discovered that are unique to your life situation, your business situation, that allow you to filter these new opportunities that come in, so that you can determine, is this really, truly a gold mine that is so much better than what we're currently working on, that it's worth dropping what we're doing to go begin working on that. And these filters need to be strong enough to overcome the natural human biases that would otherwise cause you to dive in repeatedly into the new thing, always seeking novelty and never fully maximizing the capacity that you have to succeed at executing on a business idea. So remember, there's only two reasons businesses fail. It's either a bad idea, your business plan is bad, or it's poor execution on a good idea. And in the vast majority of situations, it's the second reason. for digital entrepreneurs in particular, it's not that there's not enough good ideas. It's that you tend to jump around instead of getting really good at the art of execution, instead of building up your team to where they can really deliver, instead of developing the systems, the SOPs, the processes to be able to execute consistently, you jump to the next thing before you've built that foundation of success. And so then you're always scrambling, always playing that game where you're just barely making it. So that's why we have this contain, delay, and then build your own set of filters. So one of the filters might be to ask yourself, for example, does this have additive value to what we're already doing? In other words, is this an opportunity that takes barely any additional resources? It doesn't detract. In other words, there's a very low opportunity cost because it doesn't remove us from the profit centers we're currently working on. Instead, it just is like a bolt-on thing that augments what we're already doing. That kind of partnership could be great. So that might be one of your filters. You can have a list of 5 filters. You might have 12 filters. The key is that you ask yourself, all right, knowing myself, knowing what would actually be useful to my business, what filters, what questions do I need to ask myself? Essentially, these are decision filters that help you to, in advance, capture your best insights, the best of your wisdom, capture them in a list that helps you to filter through a new opportunity so that you don't make the mistake of jumping from one opportunity to the next. Instead, you only jump when you see a true opportunity that has been filtered and proven to have a lot of reason behind it for why you would make a change. So here's your challenge this week. Create just a small set of filters. I bet you could do it in 10 minutes. You can start that filter list, store it somewhere that's easy to find. You know, if it's an online software system like Notion or Workflowy or Evernote, put a bookmark to make it easy to find, because what's going to happen is you're going to create your list of filters and then you're going to realize new things to add over time. And that's the genius of list building, right? Is that when you create an SOP, what you're really doing is you're capturing all your genius from across months and you're concentrating it into a very powerful, concentrated form that allows you to take all your best ideas and very quickly use them to apply these filters to new opportunities and ideas. So go make your list, just spend a few minutes, just get it started. Once you've created that, the Zeigarnik effect will kick in. That's the psychological effect that causes us to want to come back to things that are incomplete. So you make a list and you leave it off with ... I know there's more. Well, what will happen is you'll be driving or taking a shower and just an idea will pop in your head of, oh, I should add that to my list. And so your list will become more valuable to you over time. Hope that's useful. We'll talk to you again soon.